My family has always been close-knit, bonding over cozy gatherings and joyful meals. But one night, while we were celebrating my son's success, everything suddenly changed. A harmless joke of mine unintentionally revealed a shocking secret that my beloved sister had been hiding for years. She had fabricated a story about a deceased twin brother to draw attention, and I, unknowingly, was the one who exposed the truth. Criticism immediately came pouring down on me, and I couldn't understand why I was the one being blamed in this situation. I am the eldest sister in the family, and like many other families, we have a long history of love and close bonds. My family consists of 4 sisters, and although my parents sometimes joke about trying to have a son, we all understand that these are just harmless jokes. Despite not having any brothers, we have always been the closest of friends. Each child in the family plays an important part, and I'm proud of the love we share. I have a son, and like any mother, I am incredibly proud of his achievements. My son, despite facing certain challenges, such as difficulties in social communication, has achieved something remarkable by being accepted into a prestigious university with a full scholarship. This is a significant milestone in his life, and my family decided to host a small party to celebrate. These kinds of gatherings are not always easy to organize, as my family is quite large, with 4 families and 11 children. But this time, we managed to arrange a fun evening, and I was looking forward to everything going smoothly. The event began when I was expressing my gratitude and admiration for my sisters. At that point, my mom asked everyone to share their feelings about their sisters on Sister Appreciation Day. While everyone was praising me for always taking care of and guiding my younger sisters, I didn't hesitate to express the love and bond between us. During this moment, I joked, "Luckily, we don't have any smelly boys hanging around this house," referring to the fun of not having to worry about boys potentially causing trouble. However, in that moment, my sister Beth's and her husband Chase's reactions left me feeling confused. They both looked at me with discomfort, and Chase didn't hesitate to speak up. That's really bad. At first, I thought he was joking, but when I saw Beth's tense expression and Chase's anger, I began to suspect that something was wrong. Chase then said, "How could you talk about Tyler like that?" At that point, I didn't know who Tyler was, and I naively asked, "Who is Tyler?" That's when I learned the painful and unexpected truth. Tyler was Beth's twin brother, who had died while still in the womb. This revelation brought a deep silence and tension to the family. It turned out that Beth had fabricated the story about Tyler to cover up a profound loss she never wanted to speak of. It seemed that Beth had chosen to lie about having a deceased brother in order to create a story that would evoke sympathy and care. She didn't want the family to know about the pain she had endured after losing a loved one. This could explain why she never wanted to mention Tyler, but it also led to her keeping this secret for many years. When I realized what was going on, I felt that I couldn't remain silent any longer. I told everyone in the room, "There must be some misunderstanding here, and I think we need to address it." But the reactions that followed left me bewildered and hurt. Beth ran to her room, tears streaming down her face, and instead of the family standing up to defend the truth, they turned to blame me for exposing this truth. Only a few people in the family realized that Beth had made up this story, but instead of receiving sympathy, I became the villain in the eyes of the family. The criticism from my mother and sisters was incomprehensible to me. It's clear that hiding the truth about a deceased person is wrong, but why should I be the one to bear the consequences of that lie? Looking back, I don't regret pointing out the truth, but the pain and unfairness in the way I was treated make me wonder if family bonds can ever heal after this event. After that incident, everything in my family changed quickly and irreparably. We used to consider each other as close friends, people who could share all joys and sorrows. However, when the truth came out, I realized that not everyone in my family could face the past truthfully and openly. Especially Beth, my older sister whom I had always respected and cherished. She appeared strong on the outside, but deep inside there was a pain no one in my family could have predicted. After I unintentionally revealed the secret about Beth's deceased twin brother, I could clearly feel the shift in how the other family members saw me. They no longer viewed me as the reliable eldest sister, but rather as the one who had shattered the stability and peace they once thought was unshakable. My mother, whom I always believed would stand by me no matter what, turned her back on me, and condemned me harshly. Her words, though gentle, were like a slap to my face. "You don't understand what Beth has been through, losing such an important part of her life." Those words caused me deep pain because I knew my mother loved and protected Beth more than anyone else. But I also knew that I couldn't live forever in lies to protect someone's feelings, even if it was someone I loved the most. The more I thought about it, the more confused I became about what had happened. Beth and I grew up together, sharing many beautiful memories, yet now she could hide such a huge secret from me. For all these years, I hadn't realized that she had been living in a world of her own creation, where Tyler, her deceased twin brother, was always an essential part of her life. For the first time, I realized that things aren't always as they seem on the outside. What we call family love is sometimes just a fragile mask, one that can shatter with a single word or small action. However, I couldn't help but question myself. Was I too careless when I made that joke at the party that day? Did I lack sensitivity when I touched upon a topic everyone in the family was avoiding? I don't know. What I do know is that I always respected everyone in my family, and I never thought a harmless joke could cause such pain. But still, the truth is the truth, and if no one in the family has the courage to face it, I will be the one to do so. Maybe it was the right thing, but it was also the hardest thing I've ever done. My sisters, whom I've always loved and trusted, now look at me with different eyes. Especially my younger sisters, who always adored Beth and never doubted her perfection. They can't understand why I would reveal such a painful secret, and they even blame me for not keeping quiet. I feel like I'm in the middle of a battle I never wanted to be a part of. I'm not the destroyer. I'm just the one who exposed a truth that everyone else seemed to have purposely forgotten. Chase, Beth's husband, seems to be the only one who refuses to acknowledge the truth. He always defends his wife, even though he knows deep down that Beth created a fictional story. I can't blame him for the love he has for his wife, but his actions only make things more complicated. Everyone in the family turned their back on me, and in that moment, I felt alone and abandoned. This situation made me reflect a lot on the value of truth and sacrifice in a family. Was I wrong for not prioritizing Beth's feelings above all else? Or should I continue living in a fake world where everyone wears masks and hides their inner pain? These questions are not easy to answer, and I know it will take me a long time to find peace in my heart again. But one thing is certain, no matter how difficult it may be, I will always stand by the truth, because only the truth can help my family weather these storms. The silence in my family has stretched on in a terrifying way. Every meal, every gathering, those daily moments that used to feel normal, have now become unspoken battles. Everyone keeps their distance, and the looks we exchange seem unfamiliar, no longer carrying the closeness they once did. Beth, my older sister, whom I once considered my closest friend, now feels like a stranger. She's no longer the sister who took care of me, who loved me as she did before. To her, I am a traitor, someone who has shattered the seemingly perfect world she worked so hard to build over the years. As for my mother, though she loves me dearly, her gaze has changed. She doesn't say it, but her eyes are filled with disappointment. Sometimes, I feel like I no longer have a place in this family. The feeling of isolation and disconnection weighs on me, like a ghost among the people I love most. Even so, I can't go back. The sense of rightness in protecting the truth won't let me. Every time I look into my younger sister's eyes, my heart breaks. They can't understand me, can't see the reason behind my actions. Constant questions echo in my mind. Was I wrong to reveal this truth? I can't help but ask myself, would things have been better if I had stayed silent? But as soon as those thoughts arise, I remember my main reason. The truth, though painful, is always more important than beautiful lies. Looking at the changes in our family relationships, I realize a painful truth. What we call family love is sometimes just empty words. If love were truly strong, if the bond were truly solid, we wouldn't need to create a false world to hide the truth. And in this moment, I understand that love doesn't always come from protecting others from pain, but from helping them face the pain so they can overcome it and grow. Beth isn't just the sister I love. She's also someone who has endured so much. Her life was shattered by the death of her twin brother, the one she loved more than anything. And now, as I unveil the truth, I understand that Beth has lived too long in the shadow of grief. She created a perfect facade to hide the pain, a facade that all of us believed to be real. I can't blame her for living in that lie, because I know that everyone has their own way of coping with their pain. But the truth is, no matter how much I understand her, I can't live forever in a world where everything is hidden. Chase, Beth's husband, always sides with her, and I understand why. He's her husband, her only partner in life. He loves her, and in his eyes, Beth will always be perfect. This makes the divide in our family even more evident. The silence between Chase and me feels like an invisible wall that no one can cross. He can't forgive me for exposing this secret, and I can't stand still while everyone in the family continues living in deception. Meanwhile, I feel my own helplessness. Despite trying to explain my reasons and hoping my family would understand, I still feel like I can't change what has already happened. I wonder if these cracks can ever be healed, and if time can truly mend all the hurt I've caused the people I love. Did I act selfishly by revealing the truth? Or is silence the greatest sin of all? Day by day, I keep trying to find a way to ease the tension in the family. But it's not easy. Every time we meet, I feel more clearly that our relationships will never be the same. I didn't want this to happen, but I know I can't live in deception forever. The only thing I can do now is to stand firm with the truth, even if it may break everything. A real family isn't one built on lies, but one that can face any truth, no matter how painful it may be. In the days that followed, I lived with a strange and heavy feeling. Everything was no longer the same, and I knew I could not go back to pretending the truth had never been spoken. The image of Beth, no longer the beloved sister, became someone I had to face every day with a sense of alienation and contradiction. Sometimes, I felt as though she would never forgive me, and I could not forgive myself for breaking the peace of the family. Mom still tried to keep a calm face, but I could see the worry in her eyes. She didn't say anything, but I knew she was enduring the changes I had brought. The helplessness I felt whenever I saw my mom made the pain worse than ever. She had given me everything, and now I was the one who had disappointed her. How could I face that truth? I didn't know how to mend the wounds I had caused. It was hard to find an explanation for the silence between me and my loved ones. I couldn't ask them to forgive me when I couldn't forgive myself, but there was one thing I knew for sure. I couldn't live in lies forever. These lies not only hurt me, but also left deep wounds in the hearts of my loved ones. Why did I make my family live in this darkness? That was a question I couldn't easily answer. Chase, Beth's husband, remained a complex factor in my life. He always stood by his wife, and I understood that. But what I couldn't understand was the silence and coldness from him. He didn't see the truth of the situation. He only saw a betrayal I never anticipated. Betrayal is not about revealing the truth, but about enduring silence and bearing things we can't change. I felt that Chase and I were becoming strangers, and even if I wanted to reconcile, the obstacles were too great. I couldn't help but wonder if I was wrong in deciding to speak the truth. Was I too harsh, too rigid, thinking that everyone in the family needed to know the truth? These questions haunted me. Was I the one who hurt my family without realizing it? Is the truth always the best thing? These questions repeated in my head, but I couldn't find a satisfactory answer. I only knew that I did what I thought was right, even though it wasn't easy. Amid all this conflict, I still had to live with the feeling of being lost in my own family. That loneliness weighed on me every day, as I couldn't find a way out. I missed the old days, when we would laugh and share all our joys and sorrows together, but now, everything had changed. No more family meals, no more endless conversations, no more evenings watching TV and sharing our secret thoughts. Those things were now just distant memories, and I couldn't go back. I couldn't change the past, but I knew I couldn't live in regret forever. Perhaps the only thing I could do now was accept what had happened and move on. But how could I face my family, face myself, after everything that had occurred? How could I return to a normal life after everything had changed forever? Amid these questions, I realized one thing. Maybe we would never go back to how things were, but I would never let silence take over me forever. No matter what, I would live with my truth, and perhaps time would slowly heal the wounds, even if they might never fully disappear. The feeling of being stuck is never pleasant. Every morning when I wake up, I am faced with the reality that my family is no longer the same. Relationships that once felt strong seem to have cracked, and I can't do anything to immediately mend them. No matter how hard I try, something invisible is blocking us from reclaiming the peaceful moments we once had. And I know that even if I succeed in convincing everyone to forgive, we can never go back to the way things were. My relationship with Beth, with Chase, and with my mother all have become strange. Beth no longer looks at me as a loving sister. She can't forget what I've done. The angry, sparkling glances I've seen from her whenever we cross paths make me feel like a stranger in my own family. Every time I see Beth, I not only feel her disappointment, but also the pain she's been through. How can I forgive myself when I am the one who caused this? As for my mother, even though she always tries to encourage me, I can sense the worry and exhaustion in her eyes. Even if she doesn't say it out loud, I know she's deeply hurt. She has sacrificed so much to keep this family strong, but now I am the one who has caused it to crumble. Every time I see my mother, I feel guilty, as if I've taken away her trust. I don't know what to do to ease her pain. Chase, Beth's husband, is someone I find hard to approach directly. He always stands by his wife, and I understand that. But what I can't understand is why he remains so cold towards me. He looks at me like I'm a destroyer, as if I'm not his wife's sister. This feeling makes me feel terrible. I've not only lost the sisterly bond with Beth, but I'm also losing the connection with the entire family. When I think about what has happened, I can't help but wonder if I made the wrong choice. Was I too blunt in deciding to share the truth? Or did I, with my own hands, destroy the most precious things in my life? It's a question that isn't easy to answer. While I know I did what I thought was right, I also realize that sometimes the truth isn't always necessary. Maybe in some situations, we should keep secrets to avoid hurting others. But can I live with lies and deceit for the rest of my life? These questions continue to haunt me, and it seems like every day I feel more and more trapped in my own obsessions. Even though I've tried to face everyone, the wounds in my heart remain unhealed. The emotions between me and my loved ones can never go back to how they once were. I still wonder if we will ever be able to rebuild these relationships from the ruins that I've caused. One thing I've slowly come to realize is that no matter how difficult everything is, I cannot live forever in regret and pain. We are all human, and we all make mistakes. But mistakes don't mean we can't start over. If I can't change the past, I can begin now to fix things, knowing that nothing will be easy and nothing will be perfect. Even so, what I need to do is live truthfully with myself and face what has happened. Regret, silence, pain, all of these are part of this journey. I can't run away from reality, but I can learn to face it and change. Things may not be over yet, but I won't let it end without trying to fix it. As long as I can take one small step, maybe that's the way I can start healing the wounds, even if they can never be completely erased. Even when you face pain, loss, or mistakes from the past, never forget that change always starts from within. We can't change what has already happened, but we can decide how we will move forward. Be brave in confronting your mistakes, because only by facing them can we find freedom and the opportunity to heal. Don't let regret or despair take over your life. Find a way to stand up, learn from your falls, and strive for a better future. Don't be afraid to love and forgive, even if the journey may be long and difficult. Remember that each day is a new opportunity to start over, to heal wounds, and to rebuild what was lost. As long as you don't give up hope, there will always be a chance for change and healing. The story ends here. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe to give us the motivation to create more videos. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you again soon. Let me know if you need further adjustments.